3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to AuDHD Unpacked, the podcast where we share stories to normalize the autistic and ADHD experience. I'm Pauline, a photographer based in Canada.
And I'm Chelsea, a disability activist based in the UK. We believe in the power of community, and our mission is to build a movement of AuDHDers who feel seen, understood, accepted, and celebrated. So let's unpack AuDHD together.
Together. I was late. Oh well. Very late.
We should keep that in.
Yeah, that was funny. Okay, welcome to our new podcast.
We're going to start by introducing each other, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to introduce you first? Or do you want to
Yeah,
go first?
you do me.
Okay. Oh, this is the part that I'm most nervous about, not going to lie. Okay, so Pauline is French, from Brittany, starting off strong. A lover of travel. You've travelled lots of places around the world, couldn't name many of them. But you're now living in Canada, which is where we met. And when we met, you used to do yoga quite a bit, but I'm actually not sure if you do that now.
No,
No.
it got skipped for the gym.
And I also tried to think about whether you're a cat or dog person, and I actually didn't know that either.
I like both.
Oh, okay.
But there's a cat that comes to our house every day. It's not ours.
Oh, you've told me about this, actually. Yeah, I do remember now. You're vegan, but I actually didn't know how long you were vegan for. I think maybe longer than I've been vegan.
I've been here for almost 6 years, so I think it would be about 8 years.
Oh, same.
I think.
Yeah,
something
same for
like
me.
that.
You seem to have always loved hiking, at least for as long as I've known you, in the mountains in beautiful BC, which is, I would say, one of your main hobbies, followed by photography, which anyone who doesn't follow Pauline yet, her photography is amazing. And she captures these beautiful landscapes and lots of lovely bits of nature. Oh, I can see you blushing. But I also think that your portraits are as well. You don't do them very often, but I really like your portraits.
Oh, thank you. I am really red, actually.
It's becoming. It's fine. I think you're younger than me, but I couldn't remember how old you were.
That's so funny. We don't even know how old we are. I don't know how old you are.
Yeah, like this sounds like we're not good friends, but I think we are.
Yeah, I think so.
And you are married. You eloped in the mountains. But I couldn't remember when you were married. Whether it was 1 or 2 years ago.
It was 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had our anniversary a month ago. We went back to Whistler, which was nice.
Congrats.
We went to the spa at Whistler. That was really
It's a good spa.
Yeah.
Expensive though, but very good.
Very, but it was worth it. Yeah.
And that's all I had.
Okay. Well, I don't have much either.
If there was anything you wanted to add about yourself that I missed, that was...
No, I don't think so.
Your AuDHD.
Yeah. Not diagnosed, but yes.
Crucial thing to not miss out.
Yeah. True. Okay, I'll do you. I didn't write everything, so I'm taking inspiration from what you just said.
Go for it.
Okay, so Chelsea is from the UK. She's been married for a while. Has it been like 6 or 7 years or more?
8, I think. 9 soon.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, for 9 years.
A long time.
You had, because I remember when you did the little post about the weddings. So you had, I think, a bigger wedding than I did for sure, because you had your family.
Yeah, we did it sort of split. we did a ceremony with about 20 guests, and then we had a party
Right.
later, which had 100 guests.
Oh, okay.
And I had a shutdown right before it.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. So I think that you're a very kind and inspiring person. I think that's before we met, I was like kind of scared because you were like a lot bigger than me on Instagram, obviously still are. And I was like a little bit stressed. And yeah, because you were like I just found you really inspiring, and that you fight for people's rights and voices to be heard. So I put that I've always looked up to you, and I've been impressed at how well you hold yourself, and the way you talk about your convictions and beliefs, and you never really cared about, I think, or you hid it really well about what other people would think. And when I say that, I always have this image of you when, was it for Halloween when you were wearing the oil thing?
Yeah, I dressed up as an
Yeah,
oil spill and went
yeah.
to work like
So that's the image I have of you
it.
when I think about how you don't really care about what people are going to think because your beliefs are just so strong. I don't know if you would still do it now. I maybe not.
I think I would. I think I
Yeah.
would just be
Okay.
more conscious of how it would be perceived,
Yeah.
whereas I
Yeah.
think I was a bit more clueless back then, and I was just like, no,
Hmm.
I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah, which is good.
You've made my eyes water. Not cry, but
Why? That's what I think, like truly.
thank you.
You're welcome. And then I put that you're very driven and you stand up for yourself and for what's right. You're a nature and food lover. That I think that's something that we definitely bonded over.
Yeah.
Um, because you always post about what you cook, and then it makes me want to cook, but do I do it? Not necessarily. But I'm like, oh, I would like this.
I think food is a bit of a special interest for me, and like cooking
Mm-hmm.
is a special interest, so it definitely like
Yeah.
motivates me. And I think that's where I'm a bit more like unique in the food department. I think a lot of people struggle with
Mm-hmm.
food, but um, I find cooking a bit more motivating sometimes. She says, as Tom had to make me a porridge earlier today because I didn't know what to have for lunch. I nearly had a shutdown.
Oh no. Well, that's sweet though.
It is
And then I
sweet.
put a little fun fact, that you used to have a really successful blog about tea, because I
I
remember that.
did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
that
love
one,
my
and that you're AuDHD, but that's, I mean, the title.
tea.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I feel like we've made each other blush. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
I definitely feel like my ego has been given a boost now.
Good. It should.
I think we also bonded a little bit over the activism side as well, because
We did, yeah.
you know, we're both vegan and
Mm-hmm.
both care about the planet and nature very deeply, I would say. And
Yeah.
actually, I remember because I used to volunteer for Greenpeace when we first met, and you came and
Yeah.
photographed and took
I
part
did.
in the post. In we were putting up posters, weren't we? And
It was really fun, yeah.
yeah, that was one of my favorite days actually.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yours was
And
probably
then I
when we were
remember
hiking.
were we hiking?
Different day, like just a
Oh,
day
yeah.
when we.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. I was like, were we hiking and putting posters on trees?
I think the only other thing I'd add about myself is I also have a chronic illness, which I think impacts the
Sure.
way that I sort of um, like my ADHD and autism shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm often getting angry at the government. But if you can't get angry at
You
the
do.
government, then who can you get angry at? So.
That's true. Well
Okay,
said.
so we're both autistic and ADHD, or AuDHD as some people know it. I'm medically diagnosed with both. We'll be 3 years next year when I was diagnosed, and you're currently self-diagnosed, awaiting ADHD
Yes.
assessment. Do you remember the moment when you realized that you might be neurodivergent?
So I think for me it was a long, how long was it? I do remember because I was given a book by a doctor that my grandma kept telling me that she was a psychologist. She was not. I kept looking at, how they have their degrees on the wall, and I'm like, Grandma, she's not a psychologist. It's like, no, she is, she is. I
What
can
was she
clearly
then?
see she's not. Just a doctor. But I
Oh,
think
okay.
she was an autistic doctor, I think.
Okay.
Because my grandma wanted to figure out what was wrong between me and my mom. My mom being a narcissist and me being AuDHD, and we're the perfect victims for narcissists, which I only learned when I talked to that doctor who used to have a partner, well, her ex-husband was a narcissist. And then she gave me a book, and it was at the time, sorry, I think they were still using the high functioning term, and it was also in French, so I tried to look for the book. I can't find it. But I felt like I was reading about my life. Like, oh, this is why, like, my frontal lobe that's supposed to regulate my emotions doesn't work properly. So now I understand why I'm always crying, things
And
like this.
how old were you?
I was 21 because it was right before I came to the UK.
I've just realized we didn't tell people how old we were. How old are you
I'm
now?
31.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
34.
Oh, I didn't realize you were 3 years old.
Yeah, so
Surprise.
you've known for quite a long time then, really. But
Yeah.
did you accept it or no?
I would say I didn't have the term autistic. I didn't realize it was the same thing. It was not the same thing, but it was inside that spectrum. So in my head, I didn't know I was autistic yet. I just thought I was
The
different, high potential, like,
I remember once when we were on a hike, you mentioned a book about highly sensitive people. Was it that book or a
it was
different
the
book?
same, yeah.
Oh,
It was the
okay.
same.
Because I really remember you saying that to me, and I think about that moment so often because I think at the time I didn't realize how much of a big deal it was to you. So when you were telling me, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like I
I
didn't,
remember, yeah. Because I
yeah,
think you didn't fully understand what I meant, maybe.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Um,
And I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool." I just didn't really like, and I think about it because I feel like almost failed to give you empathy or like
No, I don't
I
think
don't.
so.
Oh,
Because you
okay.
still listened and you tried, you know. I don't think so.
But the highly sensitive person thing, like I think we've chatted about this before. I've seen a study, or maybe it's not a study, but through the grapevine of social media somewhere that whatever that highly sensitive person label is based on, some of those people went on to be diagnosed as autistic later.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of interesting that this highly sensitive person label exists when actually it might just be like a palate cleanser term for autism, you know?
Yeah. I just find it interesting too how they probably didn't think of it as a spectrum just yet. And they thought it was kind of divided in two.
Mm. Yeah,
Like the high functioning and then the autistic people that don't really speak, but it's just wrong.
yeah. Was the
It
ADHD, where did that sort of
was
happen?
more just scrolling on Instagram and thinking, oh, I do this, and oh, I do this, but then can I be this if I'm autistic? and then kind of having two sides of my brain constantly fighting against each other. So I would think, well, maybe I'm not this and I'm this because it doesn't make sense that I'm doing this and then I'm doing this. But yeah, I would say definitely Instagram. When would you think you found out?
I was totally clueless. um, I mean, me and Tom kind of knew that there was something going on because my mental health had been bad basically ever since we got
Mm.
together, and we've been together since 2012, so like a long time. Um, and I think the thing that gave it away was my shutdown, so I sort of lose the ability to speak and often the ability to move and really struggle with that when I'm in a shutdown. And the doctors were just like, "You're depressed." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, what about these times when I can't speak or move?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, you're depressed. Here's some tablets, go away." Um, and then, yeah, you have to laugh, otherwise you'll cry.
That'll fix your problem.
Yeah. And then we moved back to the UK from Canada, and Tom randomly one day said, "Oh, there's this video that I think you should watch because I think it's you." And it was a video about ADHD. And I watched it, and quite quickly I was like, "Yeah, I resonate with this," and did a bit more digging into ADHD. I don't know, I probably looked it up on the NHS website or something. And just very quickly was like, I think I have ADHD. So, like, requested the referral with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think autism I was much slower to come to, because
Right.
when I was researching ADHD, um, things about autism would come up, but I would always see stuff and I'd be like, "That's not me. Like, I'm not obsessed with trains. I don't struggle with food." All the stereotypical sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so was I don't think I'm autistic. And then I actually came across a resource on Autistic Girls Network, who are a charity in the UK. And that I read that and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm autistic as well." And that actually encouraged me to go and ask for the referral for the autism assessment. But between the ADHD and the autism assessment request, I think there was about 9 months, so it took a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say actually, I would add that I think when you did your diagnose, that's when I started looking more into it too. The autistic side, yeah, definitely. And how long did it take for you to get diagnosed?
Oh no, you're testing me.
Mm.
I think it was about 18 months for both, which is relatively quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just got lucky in that when I requested my referral, the wait times were still relatively low. And in the UK we have right to choose, which is where um you can ask your doctor to refer you to your local diagnosis service, which I did, but the wait times for that were really long. And actually, I'm still on their waiting list, so it's almost 5 years later. Um,
Which is crazy.
yeah, but through Right to Choose, you can go through a subcontractor, and they used to have shorter waiting lists, but now I think their waiting lists are longer. So yeah, it took about 18 months.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty long, yeah.
It's long, but it's also short because I think some of the wait times here are currently like 5 to 8 years. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think from what I've heard from the doctor, the wait times are between a year and 2 years here for the free one. Um,
And which one's free?
yeah. I think they both for ADHD and autism, they do them separately, I think. They don't do them together. But the paid one that I wanted to do, they do them together,
Oh,
which
okay.
I thought is also another reason why I wanted to do that one because they do them together. Um, and then once they do the assessment with you and they tell you that you can actually ask for taxes back because they have a tax thing because it's a disability, which is great, I think, because for
Yeah.
medication and stuff, it's not cheap if you need it, so it is helpful.
How much is the joint one?
So I think it's about $2,000, which, you have to be privileged.
Yeah, it's more than anyone should pay for,
We shouldn't have to pay.
yeah, what is essentially like life-affirming care, you know?
Definitely part of the problem that we have to pay, and then that the wait times are so long. But
How long are the wait times there in
for
Canada?
the paid one,
For any, if you know them.
for the free one, I think it's 2 years.
Oh, okay. But the
Yeah,
paid one, is that a bit quicker or
yeah.
okay?
Because as soon as I think it's less than 6 months from start to finish. Yeah, I think the first questionnaires they send you, it's within like the first weeks
Hmm.
from when you
Where,
start paying. Yeah.
yeah. Where are you with your, because you've been referred for the ADHD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you with that? Are you gonna go for that or are you gonna
I
leave
haven't
it?
heard anything. I've asked them the
Oh,
last
okay.
time I went, and they said they haven't heard anything. So
And how long ago did you request a referral?
it was during the summer. Yeah, I think it was August. It was August, the end of August, because that's when I hurt my wrist at work because of scooping ice cream. It was like from my pinky. It started in my pinky, and I couldn't move my pinky. Like it was in the morning, I would wake up and I could barely move it, and then it went all like into my wrist. Anyways, sorry.
Rip a strain. Um,
Yeah. Oh, so you were saying you found a video. Well, Tom found a video that looked like that seemed to be you. Do you remember what the video was?
I think I'm 80% certain it was a video by a YouTuber called Sandy Sam, who,
Okay.
she, I don't know their pronouns, so I'll just go with they. They do primarily content about autism, I think, but it was like a random video that they did about ADHD. So I think that was also why I was introduced to autism as well. But
Mm-hmm.
and actually, I think maybe I just got unlucky because I think the first autism video I watched, I was like, no, not me. And that's partly internalized ableism as well as like not having the right resources or representation or whatever for me. And then didn't go back to that content until I was like, oh, maybe I am autistic, and then went back and watched more of the content. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
There's definitely more content now than there was before.
I remember there being like a few creators who were doing sort of like educational content, but not that many. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
over the past, I think it was 5 years ago that I was sort of realizing that I was ADHD autistic. In the last 5 years, that's definitely increased.
Yeah, because I remember we definitely talked about that. I don't remember the first time we talked with those terms about it. But remember when you came back on a holiday here, so that would have been 3-ish years ago. We definitely talked about it with those terms.
Yeah, it was either 2022 or 2023. I think maybe 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was 2023 because it was the year that I got diagnosed.
Right.
I went back to Canada for a visit in January, and then I was diagnosed ADHD in, I think it was February, and then I was diagnosed
Okay.
ASD in April.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think that's when we started talking using autism and ADHD, because before that, I mean, I didn't really know. And then watching you go through all that made me look into it as well.
Yeah, because I did that
So
classic thing of like oversharing my entire journey online.
it's helpful because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
helped me, you
yeah.
know. So you're helping people without realizing, or you think you're oversharing, but you're actually helping people. So
How are you feeling about your assessment or assessments?
Well, I'm pretty convinced that I am, but I think with what I've seen you go through, the aftermath of it, I don't know how that's gonna go. But I'm also scared that I would be masking during it, and then it could take away from how I am or how I act. But I know that in the paid one, they have a section about masking, so they can see if you are. So that's the only part where I'm a bit worried that I would be masking too much because I'm just good at it. Not anymore. Not so much anymore.
Do you think, like, do you have any sort of like self-doubt or imposter syndrome? No.
I think at the beginning, yes, and it was more for the autistic side of it because, like you said, I'm not into trains, but I'm very much into photography and hiking. So it's just realizing that it can be anything that you're obsessed about. It doesn't have to be trains, you know. Um, and now I forgot the question.
Just whether you had any self-doubt. I think I was the same,
Oh yeah.
really. Like, the doubt was more before, and once I was sure, then I asked for the referral, and then I just became more sure because I continued sort of deep diving on ADHD and autism.
Yeah.
But I did feel sometimes, like every so often I would say to Tom, "Do you really think I could have ADHD and autism?" And he'd be like, "Now that I know, there's no way that you're not." So that was helpful. And then I think once I was like medically confirmed, I don't think I ever really had that. I know some people have that worry of what if they got it wrong or what if I was like acting. I don't think I ever had that.
Okay.
I think I was just like, well, that's it now.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah. Which is helpful to know that you're validated.
Yeah.
When you were deep diving into autism and ADHD, are there any books or podcasts or anything that you were listening to that you found helpful and helped you feel more confident?
Yeah. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I read a bunch of books and I can't remember any of them. Which is, I feel like that's the way with all books. I read them and then they're gone. So I don't even remember the authors. But I do remember I listened to ADHD AF quite a lot. That really helped me understand like the ADHD side. That was a really helpful podcast. And then there was a BBC podcast, which I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's either 1,800 seconds or 1,800 seconds of autism. And it's a BBC Sounds podcast, and I think it was 2 or 3 autistic hosts on the podcast. I don't think they run it anymore, but that was really helpful because they sort of across the spectrum of autism, and it helped me see different sides of it. So not just learning about me, but learning about autism almost like as a whole. That was a good one. The Keeping It All Inside white paper, which was from Autistic Girls Network, which is mostly all about how autism can sort of look in girls. But they do have a page or two on their website about autism in women as well. So they were really helpful.
Because it's very different and harder to detect in women than men.
I think it depends on the person, but it's just, I think they talked more about work and relationships, whereas in childhood it's a lot about education and friendships.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was a good. It's worth a read. Even as an adult, I found it a good read to reflect on the things that had happened in childhood, and then actually I also used that to then talk about stuff on my the forms I had to fill out for assessment.
Okay.
So that I could sort of be like, well, I experienced this thing, I'll write about it in, I don't know, whatever box was on the form. And then I used the points in the white paper to sort of figure out what I wanted to write in my assessment forms, so that I wasn't missing anything. And then obviously my mom had to fill out some forms and talk about my childhood experience as well. And I was quite worried, I think, about getting her to do that, which is why the white paper was so helpful.
Do you remember what they asked your mom? Or do you know what they were asking her?
I know what they were asking her because she's like me. She's very good at getting stuff done. But when I was like, can you do this? She was like, oh yeah. And I was like, there's no way that she's going to do this in the time that I want it. So we had an evening and I sat there and I read the questions out to her and I was like, what's your answer to this question? And then I typed it out what she was saying.
That's funny. How did she react when you were diagnosed?
I don't actually remember her reacting once I was diagnosed, but when I told her that I was going for the assessments, I think I told her at the same time that I was going to have an ADHD and an autism assessment. She really shocked me actually, because what she said was, oh, that's funny because I thought for a while that I might be autistic. And I was like, whoa, that's so left field. And I've always wanted to like go back and re-ask her about it and just be like, well, what made you think that? But I was so blown away in the moment that I was kind of like, oh, okay, for sure she is.
So have you talked to her about it since? Like about the fact that she has always thought that she was? Do you ever talk about that?
Only fleetingly, really. Whenever I say to her, like, you know, would you go for an assessment? She says, no, I'm too old.
You're never too old.
No,
for anything.
And funnily enough, my dad was referred for an ADHD assessment this year. But he was also diagnosed with hyperactivity as a kid, which I think is just the old term for ADHD, basically.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in the genes. No, they've been quite good about it. Like I was worried they would sort of be like, why do you want to go through that, and be dismissive, but they haven't been. What I would also say is I wouldn't say that they've taken massive steps to learn about ADHD or autism either. Although my mom does follow me on Instagram, so she might see this and she might tell me otherwise. But they haven't told me that they've, you know, looked into anything. So, but I think the beauty of our family is we are, and maybe we'll cover this in another episode, I think we are generally quite an unmasked family around each other.
That's funny because it's the complete opposite for me. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm convinced that my dad is autistic, but he has no clue. I don't think.
Have you told him?
No.
Right. Have you told your mom?
Well, I've told my mom, and it didn't really go down as I never really share anything with her. And there's a reason for that, because it always backfires. And then I thought, oh, maybe I'll share. I don't know what went through my mind. I don't know why I thought this would be different. And I said to her, oh, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm autistic. And she goes, well, why would you say that? As if it was something really bad. And I said, well, it's not a bad thing. And yeah, it's just the reaction just took me back, and I thought right away, well, that's the reason why I never tell you anything, because that's your reactions. And I don't feel safe enough to tell you something without having a really strong reaction back. Not even trying to say, well, she did ask me, I think, why do you think that? I can't even remember why I answered her, because I tend to erase everything that happens with her.
Have you spoke to her about it since?
No, because she's not going to bring it up. And even, I think, if I ever bring it up again, I think it would be when I have the paper, if there is a paper, I don't know, that says that I am. Because what's the point? She just denies everything that I say, so.
What kind of reaction do you want from her then?
Just a more supportive and trying to understand, or trying to see how I was when I was younger, that could make her think, oh, that makes sense. Like I would cry all the time, as soon as I'm told off, I cry. I would be obsessed with like jigsaws. I would be doing jigsaws constantly. It was the only thing I would do, and my dad would do it with me,
Oh,
which, yeah. And I think my dad is because he's obsessed with birds. He has loads of books about birds. He can recognize birds, and I know you probably know this because you also love birds, by the sound of them. Oh, here you go.
my favorite bird.
Like he can recognize them by the sound. And I think when I was younger, he tried to make me like it too, and he tried to share that with me, but he would say, "What's this bird that you hear?" I don't know. It's a bird. So I would try, but I wasn't super interested in it, I guess. And then he's not social. He doesn't have many friends, which makes me sad, but also I talked about it with Guillermo, my husband. He thinks that maybe he's just happy like this, being alone. The only person he has is my mom, which makes me sad because.
Do you know what though? My parents are also very like they have a few friends
Hmm.
who they occasionally go and see, but the majority of their time is spent together. Um,
Right.
and it's the same with me and Tom really. Like I have friends, and I think this is also impacted by the chronic illness, but I have so little energy to actually go and do things with people out in the real world, and I don't live close to a lot of my friends. So I end
Hmm.
up spending a lot of my time with Tom. Tom has
Yeah.
way more energy, he's way more outgoing, he's way more extroverted. So he will just go off and see his friends or like do things. I'm happy to stay at home. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't always that way, but I think being diagnosed helped me understand, I don't know, certain things about what I
Hmm.
was worried about being alone, and maybe we can cover that in the future. But I definitely now, since being diagnosed, love being alone and actually prefer it and feel comfortable with it. And I wish I had that
Okay.
earlier because I think my relationships and friendships and my self-worth would have been better.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that your dad is content,
No, that
basically.
I think he is. I mean, we don't really talk about it. It's pretty. He's very closed off and
Mm,
doesn't open very often. I think my whole life I've seen him cry once, you know. So he's very. He doesn't really show anything.
yeah, I think that's
Um.
common from men of that generation. My dad's
Yeah.
my dad's the same.
But I'm not even planning to tell him. I think when I do the assessment, yes, but before that, no, because he would always say that kids that are really bad at school, for example, he would say, "Oh, well, they're gonna say they're ADHD because it's just a new reason for them to be bad at school." Because that's the
Mm.
old way of thinking that, oh, well, they're just trying to find an excuse for why they're bad at school. Maybe it's just like, oh, they're gonna say they're hyperactive.
Yeah, I would even argue that that's not even the old way of thinking. It still is perpetuated in the
Probably.
media, here in the UK anyway, for sure.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
definitely seen as an excuse for what I don't know. An excuse to need more support. Okay.
But then it makes me think, would my mom be? I don't know.
Be
Because
neurodivergent.
autistic or, yeah, because I think you can be both, but I've always had this thought, can you be autistic and narcissistic? And I've always wondered, can you be both? So I researched not long ago that you can, and I think if you look at um, Elon Musk, you would see that yes, you can be extremely narcissistic and autistic. Yeah, it's just interesting to me because I don't know if she is. Like, does it just come from one parent or does it have to come from both?
Yeah, I would assume that it just comes from whoever's got it. So if it's
Yeah.
both, it might come from both. If it's one, then it might come from one.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
the luck of the draw, right? Do you I don't know what the definition for narcissist is. My
Yeah,
phone's
I'd have
coming out.
to look at a full, but it's when you're never wrong. Everyone else is wrong. You're always the victim. You have to be in the center of everything. You're the most important person on the planet. No one else no one else's plans or anything matters. Everything is just about you.
Just looked it up. It's like a person who has an
Yeah.
excessive interest or admiration of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Know exactly how to drain your energy, and they make you so exhausted that you can't even fight back. You just stay in it because you just don't know what to do anymore. Which I think is what happened to my dad. He stayed because it was the only person he had, because she just pulled him away from all of his family and pulled us away from his family. And then when he left, I feel like I became the victim and she started draining me. And then I left. And then she got sick. And I think my dad went back into the web, I guess, which makes me sad. But what can I do?
Yeah. I mean, we've spoke about our parents before, I think. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, I know, like our moms in particular. I think the difference between us is that I have managed to repair my relationship with my mom quite a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess you haven't. But I do feel there was something in running away to almost the other side of the world that helped
Oh,
our
for sure.
relationship. Like just being away and just being like
Yeah, I think so.
completely untouchable. Like I was so cut off. And it wasn't until I came back, I feel that I noticed how our relationship had changed and that it was much
Mm-hmm.
better. And I think part of the problem for me was that I think while I was still in the UK, I think I was still seen as a child. Whereas once I was gone
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't speak for quite a long time, only through sort of like the occasional video call. I think when I came back, I think there was a level of a bit more respect there of me being an adult.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if that hadn't changed, I just would have probably run away again.
Mm-hmm. Which helps. I think people say that when you run away from your problems, but I think partly true, but it also heals you.
Yeah, it
And I
works.
will always be for run away whenever you can, because it helps. And my mom always says that oh, you just run away because you wanted to avoid the problems that you have with me. It's like, yes, I'm avoiding you.
But also sometimes if you can't fix the problem because it's out of your control, then the only thing to do is avoid it.
Yes. Yes, that's true. So do you think you were never really masking, to go back on that subject, with your family?
I think it's quite complex.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of ways that I was unmasked, and there was some ways that I masked.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, I think one of the main ways that we unmask is that we don't police each other's tones. If someone is sort of like a bit irate and is maybe being very blunt and direct, that's normal in our family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really punished, which is quite nice because I think that's I don't know whether it's nature or nurture, but that's the communication style that I automatically feel comfortable with and is more natural
Right.
to me. Okay, and that concludes the main part of our chat. At the end of every episode, we want to do a rapid fire section, which is basically just a couple of questions that we ask each other and we give quick, short, snappy answers. In the future, we're going to ask you to give us the questions to ask each other just so you can get to know us a bit better. But yeah. First one, Pauline, do you want to ask?
Okay. If given the chance to start your life over, would you take it?
Do I have my memories?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask a question back. Well, no, because you start your life over, so no.
No, then.
Okay.
No, I don't think I would change it. I would worry. I found my person, and I would worry that going back would fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you?
No.
Ah.
No, because I think even the hard bits of our lives make us who we are. And even if the like, you know, the family side and what happened with my mom. I think it helped me be who I am and discover who I am. And it helped me go very far away and do things that a lot of people never thought that I would do. Because I know, sorry, we're supposed to be quick with these answers. Not good at that. But I have just a little memory of a friend telling me she went to have coffee or whatever with a teacher that we had when we were really little, and she asked about me, the teacher, and my friend said, "Oh, she lives in the UK, she's been traveling and blah blah blah." And the teacher said, "Are we talking about the same person? She's so quiet." And it was just really, I was like, "Oh, I do things that people think I would never have done." So, yeah,
I love
just
that for you,
felt
to be
nice.
honest.
Yeah. Okay, and then it's your question.
So, my one, a weird habit or quirk you actually love about yourself. I didn't think about
Um,
this one.
I was gonna say that I forgot to look at the question. I think I did think about it and I forgot my answer. I make up little songs and stuff, and Guillermo's always like then he starts singing them too,
Ah.
and it's kind of funny. Then it becomes like a sound that we just make together. It's just
I think mine's similar. I call it my zoomies. You know how like every so often a dog just goes wild and runs around the room? Because I'm quite low energy most of the time because of my chronic illness. And every so often, usually around like bedtime when I'm supposed to be winding down, I get this like burst of energy that lasts about 5-10 minutes. And I just natter Tom's ear off, make loads of sounds, just lots of echolalia. And I quite enjoy that feeling. Like I wish I felt like that more often.
yeah, I remember we
But
talked about that.
he finds it really annoying. But I like being annoying. So
It's,
he doesn't get like seriously annoyed, but he's just like, ah.
yeah, gets overstimulated.
I don't know whether that's it. I think he's just more like
Yeah,
I'm trying to like relax and
you
get ready for
relax and
bed.
de-stress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, can you go and
that's
brush your
funny.
teeth? Leave me alone.
Leave it alone. Oh, that's funny.
And that's a wrap on our first episode. Thank you for listening and spending your time with us. We'll be back soon with a new episode unpacking masking and autism. And in the meantime, you can find us both on Instagram. Links are in the show notes. Bye.
Bye.